Hi, it's Tony Berry in New York City for the 9/11 Memorial. 10th year anniversary. Had a great time and a sad time. I was lucky. John Boyd was on my airplane and I got to talk to him and he got to talk about 9/11. The video is about 9/11. It's a long documentary. So if you like short videos, wrong place for you. If you want to see and learn more about 9/11, this is the video for you. Here's the video. Can you say something about 9/11 real quick? Your thoughts on 9/11?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's outrageous that the heroes of 9/11 were not invited to the ceremony at Ground Zero.
Why not?
And they said they didn't have room for them. So it's and they're not inviting any clergy to say prayers on this very important day. And what is needed is, people to address this in a proper manner, not in a political way. So anyway, but I'm here to spend time with the families and with the firemen and policemen, and I'll be saying prayers on the morning of 9/11 at firehouses.
And one more thing, give a shout out to Venice Beach.
Shout out to Venice Beach?
Yeah.
Venice Beach? Good to see you.
Wow. Thank you, John. Great. I love him. Thank you, man. I'm not going to sell this. This is for a documentary.
Okay, whatever it is.
So you guys are here for what?
I was deployed here 10 years ago, and I worked at Ground Zero, and I represented LA City Fire.
You at Ground Zero? How was that?
I'm a trauma counselor
That's
for
awful,
LA City
man.
Fire Department.
I had a breakdown over that. I wasn't even here.
I arrived 2 days after, and we worked at Ground Zero. We were there for 2 weeks. And I'm coming back to find a little closure, and hopefully that these ceremonies are going to turn into more positive things and to reflect on the negative things that happened during that time.
And your name?
My name is Gwen Duyal.
Wow. Thank you for your work.
Sure, you're
and
welcome.
Sir?
I'm firefighter paramedic Brandon Duyal. I'm her son. I wasn't on the job yet, but I remember that day. And now I work at our dispatch for LA City, and we're just here for the weekend too.
And is your brother right here?
No, it's my dad.
Wow. Are you a firefighter too?
No, I'm not a firefighter.
Well, thank you for your work. Your name, sir?
My name's Brandon.
Thank you, man.
Duyal.
Appreciate it. That's my bags over there, my food and stuff. That's mine. Yes, food and stuff. Okay, I'm sorry.
Outcry has largely died down, but it could easily resurface should the building that the project's backers are hoping to create rise up in Lower Manhattan. In the meantime, Park 51 is moving ahead with some less ambitious plans. Later this month, it will host its first program. It's a photography exhibit featuring children from around the world who all call New York City home. In Lower Manhattan, Grace Rao, New York 1.
Remember, you can go to n11.com/911 to check out all the stories you've seen on New York 1.
All tunnel, yes. You go up? Yeah.
Oh, how you doing? Here. I'm a news stringer, man. I'm a news stringer. Here, my ID. I got a press pass, I have ID. I'm doing a documentary on 3/11. This is me.
Document for what?
I'm doing a documentary on 3/11. That's what I do.
Who?
I do a documentary on. I'm doing a documentary on 3/11.
3/11?
Sorry, 9/11. But I do. The site has been 3/11. I'm known and I'm legal.
What's the document about?
About 9/11. I'm staying at the Millennium Hotel right now.
From where?
Excuse me?
From where?
From where what?
Where are you from?
Where I'm from? I'm from California.
From where?
California.
California.
So what do you think? I'm doing something illegal?
No, no.
Okay. So what's your opinion on 9/11 and the?
I never really think about it.
Oh, okay.
People can allow themselves to get caught up in just a small fragment of nothing, really.
What are you here for 9/11?
Well, I like to say about 9/11, I'm here to really show my respect for the people who have lost their lives down at the towers, and also knowing that we're still living in parallel times in our country, and due to the fact that we are in our 10th anniversary, I think everybody in the United States, I think everybody, rather New Yorkers, should come out and celebrate this event because a lot of loved ones has been killed behind this. We have went through so many financial turmoils behind it. Our government has been totally deteriorated. There's really no security here in the United States anymore that you can really say is actual security. We're just living by ear and just by mouth.
What did 9/11 do to you?
Well, with 9/11 did to me, it did a lot of things to me. It made me go through some changes in life. I had went through some struggles, and I'm still going through it. I just thank God that I lived through it, and still living through it. Because to me, 9/11 still exists. It's very hard to just take those memories and just erase it out your mind.
Did you do any kind of like therapy behind 9/11?
Well, I didn't get a chance to, because at the time I wasn't really focusing on, exactly the actual event. I thought it just happened to a particular group, but not knowing that that event had also affected my life too in so many different ways. Because when that happened, our government had totally had to collapse. I mean, it's when it came to national security and all kinds of issues, it was like at hand, because there was no records, and if it was records, they was destroyed and others got created. So it was so much impact, not just only upon the economy and the government, but also on the security of the citizens' protections also. I mean, we had computer glitches and then this and that, and before you know it, then we start getting so many different type of terrorism that, formed and existed here, and not even in our country, but here in our homeland of New York City. And yet these matters is like being like totally like hidden, like it doesn't exist, but in reality it exists. It's just nobody's really paying focus to it or paying attention because it's not being done like, under the scope. It's being allowed, and it's a big difference of being attacked and being allowed. So I think we need to really step on our game. This not only just for international terrorism, but we ought to also focus on domestic terrorism as well, because that's still at hand and it still exists here, even in New York City.
Your name, sir?
My name is Mr. Day.
Thank you.
I've been talking to those guys.
So, sir, your name?
David.
So, David, what do you have here? What's this piece?
These are 3D printed models, computer files that are physical form.
That's unbelievable, man.
It was precise,
Where were you on 9/11?
I was in Boston.
And how did 9/11 affect you?
Not much differently than a typical American.
Yeah.
Not in an intimate way.
Yeah, but you made this piece over here, and this piece says it all.
Yeah, long-lasting, long-lasting effect. I'm still bothered by the whole thing.
I have to tell you that I've been looking at the construction straight down for years. My friend is at 150 Broadway at the old transportation building on the 42nd story. And I was there one day, about a year after the towers came down, and I watched them recover remains. After watching the same steady plodding, digging, burning, and the smoke, I turned around, and all of a sudden there was a flurry of activity, and it was reported in the press that day that they had found a bunch of remains, the first remains they had found in more than a year.
Why you got the airplane there?
Well, just to, this is kind of just give you the time.
One station they teach us CPR, we go to the next station, they teach us, and then they put us on a bus and they were moving us over and over and over, and we were going to go down and into the rubble, and then they stopped and they said we have to wait because 7 is coming down, and we watched that go down, and then they said no, it's going to be a long time because the fires are out of control. So they said come back about 7. So I went home, and then we had no electricity, and I knew I couldn't stay, so I got on my bike and I went uptown.
So I left. I walked up about, it would have been 7, went down about 4.
Yeah, 4 or 5.
So it was after that when we lost electricity. So it was about 6 o'clock that I walked up the West Broadway actually with all these firefighters just covered and stuff, and we walked up to Florent's restaurant to meet him and have dinner because everything down here was closed. And when I realised that there was no power and no water, right? So once the power went, there was no water.
You guys get therapy for that?
Get what?
Therapy. Why?
I did. I went to see a psychiatrist once, and just one time, and I said to her, I was just telling Amy this, I said to her, I'm being absolutely ridiculous. I cry every day.
Yeah.
I was pregnant, and I'm like, I'm just being pregnant and emotional and ridiculous. I don't know anyone that died. And the psychiatrist said to me, look, you saw 2 plane crashes. You saw dozens of people committing suicide jumping out of buildings. You saw thousands of people die. You felt like you were in an earthquake. You were evicted from your home. There'd be something seriously wrong with you if you weren't upset. And the minute the psychiatrist said that to me, I stopped beating up on myself for not having the right to feel upset, and felt so much better, and I stopped crying.
With the presidents just behind them, you see Governor George Pataki, the former governor, there as well, and we did see them earlier. Mayor Bloomberg has been organizing this this ceremony, just determining who will speak and how many people will be allowed in. It's a tricky task because there's many people who want to get here, and you know, only a certain number that this site can hold.
Recognizing some of the people from the Tribute Center too, as they've worked so hard to get this site. They've been racing the clock to get everything ready down there because there's still so much construction around them, even with their best efforts. Those efforts have been hampered by everything else that's going on. The pace of construction is tremendous.
Right, and you realize the work that
Again, we're not sure how much audio we're going to get. I don't want to enter it on private moments, but we never quite know what they're sending us from. This is a full camera that's available to all the networks, and we're hoping to hear a little bit of what the president was saying there.
Yeah, and then you see the president was just speaking with New Jersey Governor Chris Christie.
With Osama bin Laden's death, that closure is just a little bit more at hand. That's the very latest from Lower Manhattan today. I'm Vivian Lake. Back to you, Chris.
All right. Interesting comment. One of the people that we interviewed said that
been here, or we've had a president here for one of the anniversaries.
Yeah, we had some sense when he was in the area because the helicopter started to move overhead, and we got the impression that the president wasn't far away. And now they're taking that solemn walk through the area. I can't recall his presence actually at the memorial in the past, so I assume this is the first time he's going to see this in person.
I assume it is too, and I'm wondering if it's the same for former President Bush as well. But the two men together, one leading the country now, one at the time of the attacks, but both together here for the ceremony, and obviously a very important day for the families, and I'm sure it brings them some solace today.
Taking a look down into this, one of the two waterfall areas, the reflecting pools, both of them built on the footprint of the towers, through that plaza, past the waterfall, and up onto a podium they've set up, which faces the Hudson River on the west side.
And you know, we were talking today, terrible. What happened on that day?
My wife was 7 months pregnant at the time, so my daughter just went to celebrate her 10th birthday.
And to teach her, right?
We would tell her about what happened, and they learned a little bit about it at school, but it's not the same as having been through it and having to make sense of it at the time.
I understand. And in fact, you see former First Lady Laura Bush talking with Mayor Bloomberg there, and also Governor Cuomo, and further down the line, as you've mentioned, former Mayor Rudy Giuliani. And he was instrumental that day. Even his critics have said, you know, he was brilliant that day. You know, there's been much made about the years past that, but for that day, he really brought the city together. He kept people calm, and he let them know what they needed to do or what he expected them to do. And he really got the communication out there, which is what people were looking for. They were looking for a voice, someone that they could follow and listen to.
And a real sense of leadership that day. You think of how much change there has been in government since then. All these faces are familiar because we've been covering them for years. But Rudy Giuliani's been out of office as of 3 months after the terrorist attacks. Mike Bloomberg, in fact, has been responsible at City Hall for all 10 of for the 9 memorial services that we've
and of course, this primary day when this happened, and we didn't even know that Mayor Bloomberg was going to become the mayor. I mean, it wasn't a sure thing at that point at all. So, you know, definitely a lot of new faces. Also, you see, is that Chris Ford?
Yeah, and I'm struggling to see who's on the monitor there, but these are the official side of it. There were some of the family members back assembled to the other side. This is really the chance for some pleasantries before the formal ceremony gets underway. Again, it'll be 8:35 when they begin with the reading of the names, and there are nearly 3,000 of them for them to get through. That has typically taken a period of about 4 hours, even after 12 o'clock.
And we are moving continued to speak. You know, he was told originally that he had to get down from the pile. I guess one of the officials came up and said, you need to pull them up, and whoever you pull up, then you get down. But President Bush said at the time, he said, no, you stand up here with me. And they've become fast friends.
Yeah, Time magazine just this week published a photo of the two of them together. They've met something like 8 times.
Yeah. These look like they may be. Some family. Oh no, those are the Bush girls. Janet and Barbara Bush, right?
You don't really get a sense of the size of those waterfalls from these shots, but they're a bit of an engineering marvel on their own because it is moving so much water. They say they're the largest man-made waterfalls in existence, and it's a recirculating system where that water keeps coming back up. But they're quite impressive and not the sole attraction down here. It's not why people are coming down to see it, but it's
Tago campus. Jane Marie Orr, Alexander Ortiz, David Ortiz, Emilio Pete Ortiz, Pablo Ortiz, Paul Ortiz Jr., Sonia Ortiz, Masaru Osei, Ace Bailey,
Tatiana Bakalinskaya,
Michael S. Bosch,
Sharon M. Welcome,
Michael Andrew Bain,
Catherine Bantis,
and I'm here today in honor of my father and Port Authority employee James William Arbella,
and my uncle and godfather, firefighter Matthew Barnes. Forget me not.
John Brown,
Lloyd Stanford Brown,
Mark Bruce,
Bettina B. Brown Radburn,
Keith A. Broomfield,
and my uncle Peter Alexander Bielfeld. We love and miss you.
and my uncle Jamal Legisa DeSantis. We always miss you. We always love you. We'll see you later.
Richard George Brewer,
Andrew Brunn,
Captain Vincent Edward Brandon J. Buchanan,
Greg J. Buck,
Dennis Buckley,
Nancy Claire Boucher,
Patrick Joseph Busey,
John Edward Balaga Jr.,
Stephen Bruce Beauty,
Christopher L. Burford,
Matthew J. Burke,
Thomas Daniel Burke,
Captain William Francis Burke Jr.,
Charles F. Burlingame III,
Thomas E. Burnett Jr.,
Donald J.
that she had, and all the richness of life that still lay in front of her, in order to save just one more person. Morgan was killed when the South Tower collapsed.
Wow, it's an amazing hat. What does that hat mean to you, sir?
Everything.
Tell us.
Give me 1 second.
Okay, sorry. I was a first responder. That's, with a city agency, and the hat just represents everything from the beginning, from the Twin Towers. This side was kind of like dedicated to all of law enforcement, between Port Authority, who lost their 37, NYPD, who lost their 23. On this side is all the firefighters, some of the iron workers that have some of that, and because it was a terrorist attack, in the back of the hat is all of the servicemen who got activated because of 9/11, and just ending the war, finding the people who caused the tragedy, and the hat is kind of dedicated to all of them, those who have died during 9/11 and everybody who's dying because of 9/11. And how are you holding up? One day at a time. Did you get therapy or anything after that happened? I did get some therapy, but it's never the same. It's not like I was here I've been here since 8 o'clock this morning. Wow. But I do this every year. Every year? Every year, since from working to the point of they no longer needed cops to patrol the outer perimeters. And then from there, it was just going down to ground zero, paying my respects to friends that I've lost because of 9/11 on the day of and the months afterwards. And I myself, I kind of fell a little ill, came across asthma, never had, doesn't run in the family. That was from the smoke, right? Yeah. What's your thoughts on the lights? I hope they never stop. Yeah. I hope they never stop running. From the point of, they say that that Liberty Towers is supposed to be completed by 2013. Even if it does become erected, I hope they never turn off these lights. Even the fact that we do have waterfall there, I hope they keep on continuing with the lights. The lights are like healing for you. They are comforting, just having the ability to look up at the stars, and at the same time too, I see some of the fireflies because of the whole towers, and I think of them as people, just as they're floating around the towers, the lights of the towers. It's very, very spiritual. Yes. Now sum it up, give us your final word, something that comes from the heart. Console one another and love one another, because you never know what's going to happen. And your name, sir? I'd rather keep that. Okay. Alex. That's right. Sorry, sir. Sorry.
they were in Texas for business. There were some companies, Unical and some other ones. Enron was involved. They wanted to make a pipeline through their country. And they were making negotiations. Every time they come here, they insult the women a lot. But they were still, you know, doing business. And then, when there weren't enough Al-Qaeda to fight in Afghanistan, they made the Taliban the new enemy.
So it depends on the interest.
That's true, yes. Also, before we even invaded this country, Afghanistan, the Taliban made an offering. They said, State Department, if you give us information to connect bin Laden to the attacks, then we'll give you him, you can make a trial for him somewhere else. And the State Department said, no, thank you. But today, the Secretary of State, the very top one, she says the only way we can leave Afghanistan to take our troops away is to negotiate with the Taliban, to make diplomacy. So you see, we choose the war, and then afterwards they do the same thing. It's a tragedy.
Are you from NGO?
From where?
You are NGO?
NJU? What do you mean?
Non-governmental organization?
No, NGO. No. I have a friend who was working for one for a while. Now he's not there anymore.
Thank you.
No problem.
You alright?
Yeah.
Like the view?
Yeah, it's fantastic. Really nice. Great. Can't beat it.
Yeah. I couldn't tell you my emotions right now. I couldn't tell you. I feel sad. I feel a lot of emotions right now going through my mind. I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad I'm here. I'm going to come every year. We're right there at Twin Towers, man. Now it's not there anymore. Amazing. The hotel right here, Millennium, staying here.
I'm just a researcher who has come to my own conclusions. The very victim started the movement. Started the movement of bringing these questions to attention. That's the biggest lie, that we're being disrespectful. They're being disrespectful by not looking.
And that's what's happened after 9/11. We've lost our freedoms. And is this what we want? If a terrorist, if it's true what happened, is this what we really want? After that happens, we all lose our freedom.
They lock us in and say,
this is your free speech zone. How much sense does that make?
The other people, they made them
We threw you into a cage and say, and we sat outside and we were talking, and the cops come up to us and said, "You're not allowed to talk out here. This is your designated area. You go there." He said, "If you want to talk about this, you go over here." How is a free speech zone? We walk up here and put all these barricades. We can talk through a cage, Taze. I want to investigate this. I don't know what they're saying is lies. Because there's so many facts. You know about World Trade Center? I jumped from home. This building was all the same day. It's called World Trade Center. 10% right? It wasn't hit by... No planes hit. While this is the steel building that had the mayor's bunker, it was built to be a safe. So it's not like it was just built to be a store like Woolworths or something.
So what's your point?
Prepare yourself to meet your maker. You are living in the last days.
Why do you say that?
Can I say that?
Yeah.
Are you alive?
Excuse me?
Are you alive?
Yeah, I'm alive, yeah.
Do you see the signs of the end times? Flood all over the world, earthquakes, famines, wickedness, violence, wars.
Yeah.
Rebelliousness, no holiness at all, no righteousness at all, no obedience at all, absolute darkness.
Yeah, but freedom of speech is good.
Say it again.
Freedom of speech.
That's beautiful.
It's a great country, man.
I agree.
I mean, you're here dressed up like that.
I agree.
After 9/11, but freedom of speech is saving you. You know.
Saving me doesn't. Freedom of speech doesn't save me. Give me some freedom.
It's not a great country, but it's a good country.
Listen to me. I will not change this country with the rest of the world. This is fact. And may God bless this country, especially for the freedom that I enjoy on this land.
Right on, man. Well, it's good that you're out here because it shows that we do have freedom of speech. You know what I mean? So it's 9/11. I don't think you should be out here, but it's freedom of speech, so you got to be out here.
I shouldn't be out here at 9/11.
You know what I mean? You know.
I should not be. I don't represent but Christ. And Christ, my Lord says, go to the whole world.
I got you.
Any day, any time.
Okay, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Oh, thank you very much.
I am TV.
So evident that it is, quote, without...
I wonder if, like,
Sorry. It's okay.
Well, I'm telling you, he's wrong. Okay? More and more people are waking up to Building 7.
The common sense, not based on what the government got. The common sense. That's possible.
Building 7 is the key to 9/11, people. Here, anybody want to finish?
Yeah, I do.
Here. Look up Building 7. That's the key. Building 7.
I get one?
Building 7 is the key that will eventually break the truth open about 9/11. They don't want to talk about Building 7.
What about Building?
I don't know about Building 7.
I don't know about Building 7. What about Building 7?
Building 7 was right here. It fell down on 9/11. It was the third tower to come down.
How did it fall down?
How did it fall down?
Yeah.
I think it was blown up. It came down in 6 seconds. How does a building fall down in 6 seconds? Are you getting some shots of me handing pins out? Because that's what I came here to do. The whole media, the entire United States media is owned by 3 corporations. They completely control our media. Everything you see on the media is a charade. It's a choreographed news report. Every day on the news, what you see is choreographed. They're reading from a script, or they're saying what's being told to them inside their headphones. And they're not allowed to talk about Building 7 on the air. Fox, CNN, ABC, CBS, NBC, none of them. They are not allowed to show you a video of Building 7 coming down. If you go up to 10 people on the street and you say, "Excuse me, sir or madam, have you ever heard of Building 7? You will be lucky to find 2 people out of every 10 people in the United States of America who even know about Building 7, that it came down on 9/11. Why is that?
Let's say
Why is that?
Let's say you Google a name.
Cover up, right?
Let's say you Google a name. You Google it.
You Google WTC 7.
And what happens?
You watch the video of it. There's videos. There's 1,000 videos of Building 7 online. You can watch it.
Okay.
It was shot from 3 or 4 different angles. At 5:20 p.m. on the evening of 9/11, the same day the towers came down, Building 7 came down at 5:20 in the afternoon. It came straight down in a controlled implosion right into its own footprint. And they rebuilt. That was the Solomon Brothers building.
It's right here?
And they rebuilt it right away. They've already rebuilt Building 7. There's already a brand new Building 7.
Where?
I don't know, but I know they rebuilt it.
See that one?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, that's number 7, the one that looks like a razor.
Building 7 was 47 stories high, and it was as big as a city block. Okay? And it had and a lot of people don't know it, but after the Trade Center was hit in 1993, they built a command and control bunker on one of the floors of Building 7. And Giuliani, he didn't go to that bunker on 9/11. He went to a delicatessen instead. So they knew Building 7 was coming down. My own theory is Flight 93, the one that they say was nosedived in Shanksville, that was supposed to hit Building 7, but it got shot down by friendly fire. It didn't nosedive into the ground like they're telling you, because the debris field is 4.5 miles long. You can do your own research. How does a plane nosedive into the ground and completely vaporize, not leaving any bodies, any luggage, any significant parts of the plane?
So what's your theory about what really happened in 9/11 and why?
My own theory is that the group known as PNAC, PNAC, which is the something for the New American Century, okay? They were saying way back about 1.5 years before 9/11 happened that the only way the United States could stay in control of the oil would be another Pearl Harbor type event. They wrote that in their own report. The people who were on PNAC were people like Rumsfeld, Dick Cheney, Wolfowitz, a whole bunch of them. Okay, they all eventually found themselves in the Bush administration. Next thing you know, we have 9/11. And then what happens after 9/11? Now we're in Iraq, Afghanistan. I mean, why are we in Afghanistan? They only discovered $2 trillion worth of lithium there. What's going to power the next generation electric cars? Lithium batteries. So that's why we're in Afghanistan, for the poppy fields. Afghanistan is the #1 producer of opium in the world. Check it out.
You need that for electric cars too, yeah.
So, yeah, you need poppy.
Where's my free heroin?
Well, lithium.
Yeah.
Where's my cheap gas?
I think he's crazy.
Gas prices. You can say whatever.
let's actually ask for the documents, right? Like, we have this ability, this open information act that is still available right now. So where are these wiretaps at? Where's the documentation at? Because 10 years now,
well, just look how many police there are here.
There aren't that many, which is actually proof.
You have a bigger chance of being killed
at that point in time, you can't assume that the government is overstepping its bounds. You can't assume that the government is actually attempting to overstep its bounds.
I agree we should look into it, but who's
police?
And when that happens, we have government.
Like that.
Like we have reporters looking into it, and they aren't finding anything. That's a big deal. They aren't finding anything. In fact, let's look at one of the big things that came out of the Iraq War, right? Like Saddam's WMDs. We didn't find WMDs, right? We didn't, and we very much criticized George Bush for that. And yet we aren't finding criticism for any of this. The reason for that is because there isn't any criticism to be found. But see, that's the thing. The mainstream media criticizes what needs to be criticized, and we've seen that throughout the past 8 years that we had George Bush. When that happens, you're always going to look at that who is the one to keep the government accountable, and they've done that, especially in the recent history. At that point in time, why are you questioning that?
I don't think mainstream media has held the government accountable.
How not? George Bush's ratings plummeted, and right now, President Obama, who most of us here would probably back, his ratings aren't even that big. So, but there's a reason for that, and my own personal opinion is because it's not true.
You know who won the debate the other night, the Republican debate?
I'm not claiming to be
It's not that the conspiracy theory hasn't been put on TV. They don't even talk.
Where we going? Easy. Guys, who's in the shirt?
Their dad.
My dad.
I'm sorry to hear that. He died in the airplane?
Yeah, he died on flight 11.
And how you handling everything?
It's hard. It's sometimes.
And you?
It's hard for them. They never got to meet him.
Wow.
It's sad I kind of didn't see him.
You like the new waterfalls?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, we saw him
Have
today.
you see President and everything?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Bush and
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, ladies.
Yeah, thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Yeah.
My name is Susan Gorin. I'm a village denizen, and these pictures were taken from a sailboat before the trade towers fell and the tragedy occurred.
That day?
They were taken several years before, but I have these pictures to show how it looked before the tragedy. So this is one, and this shows what it looked like from the sailboat.
And you out there sailing with friends?
Sailing with my friend Scott.
You always do that?
He's a sea captain. He's got a captain's license, and we used to go all the time. And we would go under the Verrazano Bridge and out to Coney Island and lots of other places. And these photographs, beginning here, this is my last shot of the towers before all the trouble.
You took that shot?
I took these shots.
Wow.
And this was the day the tragedy came. And as you can see, the tower is burning, and it was a very difficult thing.
Wow.
And when the tower started to burn, everyone came out on the street in the village. They were all really horrified and really, really frightened, I think. And this is what it looked like as the towers were burning over University Place, looking south into Soho. I took all of these. All of these. These are my shots. And this is Midtown, New York. Oh, sorry, this is still Greenwich Village during the collapse of the first building. And as you can see, there were 2, and then there was only 1. And this was the beginning of the real tragedy, because until then, life was not lost in great numbers. But once this happened, everyone that was still inside the buildings were doomed. And as you can see, this is looking over Washington Square, and then
Where?
This is up University Place looking at NYU's library, and this is when the second building fell.
Well, it's in there.
And
Wow.
here you can see, up Fifth Avenue, then it was gone, and the towers had fallen.
Wow. So how do you deal with that?
I just took one look and thought, this is going to be a terrible tragedy. Many people will have lost their lives, and there will be people everywhere.
You took these 2?
A woman gave me these pictures when I was developing the previous ones, and I gave her some of mine. She was down at the Trade Tower as things were collapsing. And in fact, this is the Millennium, the building that we're in right now.
Where?
Right here.
Are you kidding? Let me see.
Yeah, this was the original Millennium.
Where's it at?
It was right on this corner, I believe.
Wow.
They had to, recreate the damage, etc.
Was a lot of damage to the hotel?
Yeah, I think
like
there was
what?
a lot of damage. Well, I wasn't inside, I don't know, but this is important because this is when the first tower
You gotta keep the picture
fell.
straight.
Right. The moment the tragedy hit, the planes were horrific, but when the building started to fall, all the people on the streets panicked, and all the dust started showering down.
She was that close, the lady?
People went running for their lives, literally.
No, but the lady who took the shot.
Yeah.
She was that close?
She was that close.
And what did she do?
She ran for her life. Ran for her life.
You see this? So that's the hotel we're in right now.
Yeah, that's where the Millennium is, and this is the collapse.
That's amazing, man.
Can
you imagine being in this hotel then?
Right.
Must
This
have been
is
scary.
the collapse of the North Tower. And this is what happened in the Village after the fact, when people created memorials on the streets of New York.
Yeah, I saw that on television. It was really amazing.
This is Washington Square and University Place right after the towers fell. The next day. And this is Houston Street looking down LaGuardia Place into West Broadway when nothing was still standing.
It looks so empty.
And these are the tributes that people drew in Washington Square on sheets that they hung to memorialize the loss and to get out their anger on Osama bin Laden. And these people, instead of having anger, showed love.
Oh, let me see. That's beautiful.
And this is Midtown that same week when things were still closed and businesses didn't open. And this is in Midtown. All the construction workers that were working hung flags.
That's beautiful.
And this is the Ground Zero site
Hold it.
a year after.
It's a year after?
Mm-hmm. It fell in September, and this was when I went downtown to do my taxes. And this is a view from my uncle's office, looking right down on the site.
Oh, let me look. Wow, that's so sad.
It is so sad.
That's the scale of the World Trade Building.
Exactly, that's it.
Okay, wait a minute. Get closer here.
And this is the remaining towers, the small ones, other number World Trade, between 2 and 7.
7 still there? On the picture?
7 is the one that they just rebuilt. This
yeah,
is the one.
It's there?
Nope, you can't see it here. Gone. Done. These are other buildings in between those numbers. Lower and in between. And this is back to the site itself.
Let me see. And you took these? Your friends took these?
I took all of these.
Wow.
All of these pictures, except for those few close-ups.
You didn't need no therapy after that?
No, but I was pretty depressed, like a lot of New Yorkers. And this is what it looks like when you come into New York now. When they first built the towers and they stood here, I always thought they ruined the New York skyline. But all of us got used to the buildings, the Twin Towers. And once they were gone, we were always looking for them everywhere. And they're gone. And this is what it looks like from the Battery now, when you drive in from the Staten Island Ferry.
It's a real empty space.
Right, and none of the towers are there. Down here is coming over the bridge from Brooklyn.
You see?
And looking for the trade towers, and again, they're not there. But it looks peaceful, even though it was a horror story.
You see? See, I thought they were, when I had my breakdown, I thought they were still there.
Mm-hmm.
I thought you go to the park and still see them, you know?
Yes.
I wouldn't believe it was gone, even though I knew it was gone.
And this last shot of the site was a couple of months later, when they were starting to do construction. And the very last page in this book is what I wrote in Washington Square as the daughter of a World War II veteran who was in the Battle of the Bulge. I wrote, "Never forget the price of freedom," because that's what this was all about. People who had no freedom trying to take away our freedom.
So what's your opinion on the new structure?
I think this is a stunning building. I think it is architecturally so advanced compared to the original buildings. It's extraordinary.
Why do you say that?
The lighting, the structure of the building, the way it triangles and then it narrows up top. It's just a beautiful design.
What about the waterfalls?
The building is nice, but the waterfalls are extraordinary. The sound of the water, I can't wait to go and see it. The sound of the water must be so fantastic. Water is very calming and very, very good for people who are under stress. Just like the sound of the ocean is good for people, I think that these waterfalls must be extraordinary when you're sitting down there.
How do you feel about seeing this now?
I'm very excited to see it. It's the first time. And I'm looking forward to getting a ticket and going in there when the tickets are available.
Do you have any final words?
Sorry?
Do you have any final words?
Final words. I think that the lesson to be learned from all of this is that you can't keep New Yorkers down, and that no one in this country, even though they were shocked at the attack on our soil, no one here is giving in. No one here is going to stop trying to make the world a better place and to make more people have freedom. Many of them do not.
What's your opinion on the new mayor?
The mayor is not somebody who can find me among his fans.
What's his name?
Mr. Bloomberg. Mike Bloomberg is a money man. He's not a people person. And he is very arrogant, and he is very self-important, and he thinks he knows it all. And I don't think so. I hear a squirrel.
Thank you.
Thank you.
% cut allowed by the unions had not been enough to keep the show running, so the company agrees to give up another 25%.